right, how you guys doing? This is Brian Mazik, aka Franchise Play, and this is a bit of a special presentation. You guys normally know I come to you with live streams, maybe some gameplay, and I'll also always do Ask FP via live stream. But today I have a special guest with me, and we're going to do an interview. His name is Rob Schamberger. If you're not familiar with him, you absolutely should be if you love wrestling and then you can appreciate any fine art. So I want to introduce him right now. Rob, can you say hi to everyone?
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, absolutely, Rob. So Rob is, I don't even know how to describe it because I don't want to limit it and say he's the WWE superstars painter, because quite honestly, if you get a glimpse of his work, you know he probably can paint just about anything. He paints WWE superstars because that's what he chooses to do. So I don't know if he does anything else. We're going to find that out today. So for anybody that doesn't know, Rob is a part of, he works with the WWE. His work is featured on the Canvas to Canvas YouTube series. You'll see sometimes the WWE doing some of their programming, they'll cut to some artwork. And in case you ever wondered, like, who's the guy behind this, it's Rob. And most recently, we got news that Rob is going to actually be at the E3 event, where he'll be playing a huge part in the roster reveal for WWE 2K17. So we're all familiar with roster reveals. That's old stuff, right? Well, WWE 2K is going to have Rob actually live there painting the first members of the roster that are going to be revealed. So this is how you're going to get this information. So Rob's up there painting AJ Styles in the game based off Rob's painting. So did I get that right, Rob?
Right. Although cannot confirm or deny if it's AJ.
Exactly. That was it. Right. That was just an example. I don't want to put Rob in a situation where he's giving up info he's not supposed to yet. So my first question for you is, let's just take it to the beginning. How did you get into painting wrestlers?
It was about 5 years ago. I had been working as a comic book artist for quite a while and never was able to make it my full-time thing. You know, always had to have a day job to pay for my art career. And then, yeah, it was about 5 years ago I realized that no one else in the fine art world was really doing anything to celebrate pro wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan. Obviously, I'm an art fan as well. And I thought this is something I would like. And then I realized, well, I should be the one to do it. And yeah, it just went off like gangbusters from there. I did a Kickstarter and raised $20,000 in a month, which I think is still one of the top fine art Kickstarters ever. Again, it's because of the passion of wrestling fans and that they wanted something like this as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? And I think for me personally, man, and I hope anyone who's listening to this also feels the same way, that's like an inspiration, because so many people feel that they got to do, you know, their job has to be something that they hate or something that they make a living. It has to be something that they hate. And you obviously have a passion for art, and you also, like you said, a passion for wrestling. And you took those together and you said, hey, you know, I'm going to fill a void and I'm going to create this based off of my talents and my passions. And I think that's something that everybody should be looking to do. So how did you get hooked up with the WWE specifically?
Yeah, that was about 3 years ago. I was putting together a fundraiser gallery show to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I had it coincide on the day that SmackDown was coming through Kansas City, where I live. And I had become acquainted with Jim Ross. He was still with the company at the time, and reached out to him just for the purpose of seeing if WWE could help me co-promote the event, you know, just get the word out about it to make it a big success. And they did. Like Triple H tweeted out about it, which was crazy. And I was able to adopt a kid's wish doing it, which was an amazing experience. But unbeknownst to me, and not prodded by me, Jim on his own reached out to several executives at the company and said, you need to work with this guy. And that got it going. to my knowledge, I'm the last person that Jim Ross brought into WWE. So The Rock, Steve Austin, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Rob Schamberger.
Hey, you know what? By God, he built him. You know, that's pretty awesome, man. I mean, I've had an opportunity, and I have actually a distinction with Jim Ross that's probably not quite as cool. I was there for the WWE 2K event that went out of hand. So I was like 10 feet away. So I'm hoping I'm not like responsible for it or whatever.
You're the one that covered it.
I'm the one that did it. It's me. It was me. So yeah. So when you do your stuff, man, do you go off of photos, or is it a mixture of, you know, your memory and images? Like what's your process at the beginning?
I'll start with photographs or video stills, because it's important, obviously, to get the likeness right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just where I start. It's kind of like with jazz, right? Like, you know where you start, you know where you end, and you do something in between.
Right.
And it's equally important to me that it doesn't just look like the subject, but feels like what it's like to watch him. So then it's, you know, on me to bring that out in the piece.
Got it. So what I noticed, one of the things that jumped out to me, and my wife's an artist, so I kind of, you know, pulled on her expertise in that way. I said, you know, you look at some of Rob's work, he has a lot of other colors in here. And she was like, well, you know, some of those accent marks kind of they symbolize motion and that sort of thing. So I was wondering, like, what, you know, creatively, where do you know, is that just something that just kind of takes over in the middle of the process? Like, where do you come up with some of the, like, the accent marks, some of the motion marks, and your choice of colors? Is it about mood or what?
Yes. Again, I try to make it specific to each one.
Mm-hmm.
Although sometimes I'll have an idea and then I'll look for a subject that would go with that idea. I spend about half an hour to an hour every morning looking at other people's art, because art at the end of the day is just problem solving. Okay. You know, it's how did this specific person make this image with these dimensions and these colors and do what they do. I'll look at that and see what I can bring back to my approach, or if it's just something to experiment with. So it'll vary from piece to piece. Again, trying to capture what it's like experiencing that individual.
Got it. Yeah, I love to hear the different processes of an artist. That's something that always fascinates me, because, you know, a few little things I do here and there I would probably categorize as art, maybe not as quite as cool as what you do, but, you know, I love to hear about the process. So have you ever had like a superstar pose for a painting for you?
No, getting one of them to sit still that long would be
right.
Cool. But now, because I work hand in hand with WWE, I get some luxuries. Like, I get to work with the person that handles their photo archive, so I get access to photographs that the public's never seen. You know, some things that might work for the original purpose that they were shooting for. You know, like some of the other photographs from that are like the B-roll. You know, and sometimes there are shots from there that, with my approach, can really, you know, make something cool.
Yes. I can imagine trying to get like Xavier Woods to stand still.
Yeah, not happening.
Like, in the middle of your photo, in the middle of your painting shoot, he's like, WWE.
Clapping.
So I'm pretty sure you have some level of affinity for all of your work, you know, and then you, as an artist, you're probably critical. There's probably some stuff that you hate that people say, oh, that is awesome, Rob. But which painting of yours do you think is your favorite?
Last year's WrestleMania in the Hall of Fame, when they did the inaugural Warrior Award, I did a painting of Connor the Crusher with the Ultimate Warrior that I surprised the family with after his father, Steve, gave that amazing speech. Yes. I was hiding out backstage and surprised him with the painting. And one, I thought that I did a really good job with the piece, but two, just the emotional resonance of that will always stick with me, because also I hand painted the coat that Warrior wore in his final appearance on Raw. I've become friendly with both him and his family. So being able to bring all that together, it's going to be hard to top that one.
Oh yeah. I would say I can't even imagine a moment that's going to be better than that. I did also have the privilege of seeing him at one of the media events, and he did the speech that I still remember to this day. And the theme of it was "Don't be afraid to shake the ropes." And he was talking about, you're going to come in your industry and you're going to be doing different things, and you're going to come out there. He said when he first came out, he would shake the ropes, and he's like Pat Patterson, a couple of other people said, man, you got to stop doing that. You look crazy when you do that. And he was like, but something just hit me every time I got out there. I got to shake those ropes. And he's like, look at what it led to. And he was like, in your professional life, don't be afraid to shake those ropes. So that's something that stuck with me. So I can definitely see how something dealing with the Warrior could be inspiring for sure. Is there anyone yet that you haven't had the opportunity to paint that you can't wait to work with?
Total cop-out answer, but it's true, is all the ones that I haven't painted yet. Especially I have a side project I'm doing, which is actually where all this started with that Kickstarter. It's called the Champions Collection.
Okay.
And actually all these paintings behind me are a part of that. Is that I'm painting every world champion from all of the major American promotions, going all the way back to Hackenschmidt in 1905.
Wow.
It's going to be like 250 portraits when it's all done. I've done about half of those. So the ones that I haven't painted yet are the ones that I'm really looking forward to doing.
Oh, wow, man. So that actually kind of leads me to, so that adds a question on to what I was going to ask you. Because I want you to tell me about the whole roster reveal process. Like, how is that going to work? You're up at E3 at the LA Convention Center. What is it, booth 1610 or something? Is that what it is?
I don't know for sure.
Something like that.
I'm a terrible spokesman.
It'll be in the Forbes article that this video is going to be embedded in. But you're going to be up there on a really large canvas, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And a live setting, and you're going to be painting. So are you going to be painting all of the superstars on one canvas, or how does that work?
It's a limited number that I'm doing. When 2K and I first started talking, I've done a couple large scale murals before, so I have a feeling for the time period that I have, like what I would need to be able to get it done. So I told them what that number would be, and then it'll all be on one canvas. It's 8 foot by 10 foot. So it's a monster. So, and I've got 3 days to do it.
Right.
So definitely when I'm there, I'm just going to be painting. It'll be different, like the last 3 WrestleMania accesses I've been at and painting, but I'm also selling and stopping to talk to the fans and all that. This one, my job is just doing the painting. So I'm sure I'll be bringing some earbuds, loading up my podcasts and my playlists, and just getting to work.
Okay. So you can paint and listen to a podcast, huh?
It's I do a lot of podcasts, or like when I'm in the studio, I'll find a series on Netflix and just let that play while I'm working. Something with good dialogue. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm gonna be honest, I can't even relate, but I just me thinking like me trying to concentrate and paint while like somebody's talking about a world issue would like freak me out. I don't know. I don't know. It just depends.
Painting sometimes can be kind of I'm going to get really artsy fartsy here. It can be kind of meditative. Like I'll start working and then I'll look up and 5 hours have gone by. Cool. It's like that. So something like that where I can really cut off the world, that's when I can really get in my zone and get some work done. Awesome,
man. Awesome. That because I asked you about your best piece, and I'm looking at that Vader behind you. And I'm like, wow, it's gonna be hard for me to find one that's better than that Vader. That Vader's looking pretty sweet right there. So yeah. So all right. So give me an idea. How long does it take you to do one piece? Like say the size of the ones that are behind you.
The ones behind me, if I'm just in the studio, can be 1 to 2 days.
Okay.
It really varies from piece to piece. Like I do a lot of watercolor stuff. So if it's a smaller one, single figure, it'll take me a couple hours of total actual working time, not like waiting on it to dry and everything. Some of the bigger ones can take longer, or if I'm painting in public where I like to stop and talk to people, that obviously takes longer. But it varies. Like I did one for WWE, the first WrestleMania that I was at, started it, and it was 30 years of WrestleMania, and 7 foot by 5 foot with like 30, 40 different figures on it. That ended up taking a month. Yeah, and again, that was like part of like when I was talking to 2K, I was like, okay, here's what we're going to limit it to.
Right. Got you. Well, man, I'm going to tell you, man, I am really impressed with your work. I'm inspired by your work. I'm inspired by your story and how you got there. Absolutely. Just quality stuff. And, one of the things that sticks out to me about it is people who don't love wrestling may not consider it an art form. But almost anybody can appreciate a good painting. So I think that it is really cool to blend the two art forms together in the way that you do it, because I think that it can somewhat introduce another art form to someone through an art form that they already acknowledge.
I totally agree, and I love that you said that wrestling is an art form. That's exactly how I view it. Although a lot of the guys will tell me that it's art that hurts, but it's definitely an art form, and I look forward to the time when more of our society views it as such, and we'll kind of take that viewpoint with it. And that's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing as well, because it stops people and makes them say like, well, he put this kind of work and he's a serious artist. Maybe I should re-examine how I look at wrestling as well.
Yes. So yeah, man, that's all I got for you today, Rob. I do appreciate you jumping on with me, especially in such short notice. So I hope to actually get an opportunity to speak to you again. Maybe we can, chop it up about some of the some pure wrestling stuff at some point, because I'm quite sure you're encyclopedic when it comes to that, and I can go back a few years myself. So if you can tell people who may not be aware where they can find your work, the different types. I've seen t-shirts, I've seen prints, it's all types of stuff out there. So kind of tell everybody where they can find your stuff.
Sure. My main website is robschamberger.com, robschamberger.com. On Twitter and Instagram at Rob Schamberger, Facebook, Art of Rob Schamberger. And then every Sunday on WWE's YouTube channel, there's Canvas to Canvas, where you get to see different paintings that I do. And then a lot of those paintings end up becoming shirts that you can get through WWE Shop. And then also on WWEauction.com, we have prints that are signed by the superstars as well. For the coolest art and wrestling fans out there, those are really nice items to have.
Definitely. You know what? I did have one other question, and you probably can't answer this if the answer to it is yes, but I'm going to throw it out there. You know what I thought, and you've probably thought this yourself, your stuff would be really cool for a loading screen within WWE 2K17.
There's going to be this is my first appearance with 2K, and I really hope it's not the last one. And I think that there's a lot of ways that we can grow our relationship and things like that down the line, because again, they put these games out pretty often. That's definitely something that can be explored down the line. And I'm on board,
Right.
My landlord and my wife are on board with that.
Absolutely. All right, then, Rob, I'm going to let you go again. I appreciate your time, man. You have a outstanding afternoon.
You too. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.